Folks, I want to dive right in and go ahead and address the Facebook post with the flyer about busing folks to and from Mobile. How did that idea originate? What was the main goal behind busing folks over?
It actually was a conversation between myself and one of the regulars in downtown, and he said, you know what, we would love to come over and see Pensacola. And I said, well, why don't we do it? Really, this was intended to show the community that Hopjacks is not dead.
Would you say that maybe the wording could have been a little differently done on that
Absolutely.
banner?
We emphasized the wrong word. If you were to take the emphasis on and moved it to city instead of where it was posted.
Yeah.
It absolutely the wording could have been adjusted, because it's not about Mobile is not good and Pensacola is good, because that's not the point. I mean, I lived in Mobile as I was building that store. I lived in Mobile, lived about 4 blocks from Hopjacks, and I know what it was like to live down there. And we have no intention of bashing the city. What happened when we went to when we closed Hopjacks that night? We walked across the street and had drinks at Haley's. I mean, that's where we all hung out.
Was there ever the option of staying open? I know there were some issues with the liquor license. That was one of the reasons it had to close so quickly, is because that was going to be taken, so you couldn't sell beer and liquor.
The state and the city really gave us very little options. And when you ask about could it have stayed open, it absolutely could have. With the help of the state of Alabama and the city of Mobile, it absolutely could have stayed open. When we dealt with the situations that we were dealing with, there was no one that wanted to help. I sat on the phone hours and hours each day for weeks leading up to this. And it got to the point in this pseudo negotiations that was, if you can, and I had to tell someone, if you do what you say you're going to do, you're going to shut this company down. There's nothing, I can't save it.
Yeah.
You're going to do this. You consciously, I tell you, if you do A, B is going to happen. They said, we don't care, we want A. And it became about politics. It became about whatever other reason why they didn't want to work with small business.
Hi, my name is William Carroll. I am the Mobile City Councilman for District 2.
Personal opinion, comparable entertainment districts, Pensacola and Mobile?
No. Pensacola is a city with 52,000 people in it. I mean, there have been times when there's been more than 52,000 people downtown between Dolphin Street in our subsequent areas. So no, Pensacola can't do what we can do when it comes to entertainment. Are some of their facilities a little bit fresher and newer than ours? Yes. I mean, they have areas that they've completely redone where Mobile has maintained its historic integrity. So comparable? No. There's nowhere close to us.
Do you feel that losing Hopjacks is going to negatively affect downtown?
Anytime you lose a business downtown that has, in my sight, done a good job and has a large patronage, yeah, that affects us. For whatever reason they leave, if for whatever reason they leave or have to leave or are caused to leave, it affects us. Whether it's negative, I don't know, but anytime you take away a venue, I consider that to be somewhat saddening.
So you just for the record, you did try to work with the city of Mobile to keep the doors open.
Absolutely. City and the state.
City and state. 'Cause the way I understand it, the state is the one that controls the liquor license.
They both do.
They both do.
The way that it was threatened to me, I guess, is that if either one of those turns in and reports us to the liquor board, then whoever it is, it's not, whichever one made that call, the liquor board says, all right, thanks for your license, I appreciate it. You don't have the ability to sell anymore. And we didn't get any help. We had an embezzlement issue, put us behind in taxes, point blank. No, not gonna deny that. We had, but we're not a cash only business. We're not a. This was something that we were doing wrong. This was someone who did wrong in my company, and has been arraigned for it. This is not that we're making these stories up. But when you have, when we got to that point with the state of Alabama and the city of Mobile, we're trying to do the right thing. We need your help in doing the right thing. We want you to help us stay in business. They were very stern about what they wanted and what they were going to get and what they were going to do if they didn't. And when the I don't know if you've been in downtown, when the liquor department comes and does one of their operational checks.
Oh, when ABC boards out.
When the ABC boards out. When you have 4 men in all black riot gear with semi-automatic weapons come into your restaurant on a Friday night, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to stay around. And that's what happens. When they walk in, half of the restaurant says, "Check, please." And these are not people that you deal with. These are not people that you mess around with. So if the city and the state both independently say, "We're going to turn you in, you're going to lose your license." It's happening tomorrow. It's happening Monday. I'm a slow learner, but I'm not that slow. In Alabama, you have 3.5 regulatory agencies. You have the city, the state, and the county. When you send your taxes in, you have to send each one of them to each department: city, state, county. Which means each one of those has their own enforcement arm when things go wrong. Which means they also have 3 individual negotiation points when things go wrong. So it's kind of like trying to negotiate with 3 people. The state of Florida, you pay you pay your sales tax to the state of Florida. The state of Florida sends it to the state, to the county and the city, and but it all goes into one check. It all goes to one department, and then it trickles down. The plus side of that in our situation was that when there was a problem, there was one person to negotiate, one department to negotiate. It wasn't a group of departments, one. So that when we struck a negotiation and said, "Look, we're upstanding company. We're not trying to dodge our taxes." It was about making it right, and the state of Florida said, "All right, let's work with you. Let's see how we do." Florida says, "Give us 20% of what you owe us, and let's work out a payment plan." I said, "No problem." Between the city and the state, it ended up being 60% of what we owed before they would even consider doing a payment plan. And like I said earlier, it was point blank. The reason when I got off the phone, I want to say it was a Friday morning, I said, if you do this is what's going to happen. And we were told that we would be reported to ABC, and we were going to lose our license. There were no warning signs. This person was almost a family member. Her kids hugged me when they left the office. I went to see her mother in the hospital. This was not a stranger. And the day she left, we just kind of sat back and said, "Oh my gosh, we're in real trouble." And it took 2 months to sort it out. That happened in mid-May, and it's now the end of July, early August. And that entire time, we were fighting and working and trying to right the ship.
Now, we've heard that the reason that Mobile Hopjacks is no longer in operation is due to some financial issues internally. When businesses in downtown, small businesses, have financial issues, is there assistance or a program or a way that they can approach the city and work through those issues to keep their doors open?
I don't know if there's assistance. I don't know if there is a program. I wouldn't think that there would be programs of that nature in place. But the city does not want to see anybody go out of business or put out of business. If there is a way that we can help or the city can help, then we're glad to. But a lot of times you as a business has to step up and say, there's a real problem. What can you do here in order for me to meet my obligation to you? But there's a legal process that's also there that has to be part of that process. City can't arbitrarily say, hey, we're going to help you. Yeah, they could have stayed open, sold pizzas and the wraps and the French fries that they do with that, I think, sea salt, and gone through their weekly process and possibly met whatever obligations that they need to. I don't know what their dealings are with the state, but the state controls that portion of their liquor license and not the city. So if that's the reason, then the city has no control over that.
Could it have stayed open as a straight restaurant while that stuff got sorted out, or can you comment on that?
The unfortunate thing when I opened Hopjacks 4.5 years ago, I wanted a restaurant with a great bar, with a great beer menu. We weren't able to change the concept so that you couldn't deal with beer. You couldn't have a beer and a pizza. That was the perfect meal for 2 people is a small pizza, an order of fries and 2 beers. And it's perfect. I couldn't fight it. I couldn't fight it hard enough. And that wasn't my restaurant. I never made a dime off of Mobile. Not one single red cent went into my pocket as profit from Mobile. That store was about the patrons that made it Hopjacks and the employees that made it Hopjacks.
Was it a super shock to you, or did you have kind of a gut feeling that something was a little off?
I had a weird vibe for the last week before it happened, but it was pretty shocking,
What reaction did you get from patrons that night when everybody knew what was going on? People were stopping by for one last drink at Hopjacks.
Everybody was shocked. People were confused because we were always busy. They're like, "What? But you're always busy. What's going on?" And I had to explain to them it has nothing to do with being busy or whatnot. It's internal embezzlement.
Now I know that the last that I read, y'all offered positions to those 27
Correct.
who were let go. Last I saw, 2 had accepted. Have any more?
We have 2 more that we have 2 that have accepted. We have 2 more that have visited the city in the last 24 hours to check it out, to see what it's like, and to get a feeling for it.
In a perfect world, yes, I'd love to stay in Mobile. This is my home. This is where I was raised. This is where I grew up. So I'd like to stay in Mobile, but we'll see what happens. Just gotta have a job.
The city of Mobile and the state of Alabama have a golden opportunity to watch what happened to a small business and learn from what had been done. I hope Alabama and the city of Mobile take this opportunity to see what could have been done better, so that when this happens to someone else, they don't lose it.
If there's one last thing you could say to the employees and to the patrons that have supported you over the years, what would it be?
I love you. No, it sucks. It's unfortunate, but we still know what happened there was something you really can't find very many other places. It was the truth. But I'm gonna miss them. It's not like we're not going anywhere. The store won't be going down, but everybody that worked there and the regulars that frequented the place, they're still gonna be in Mobile, and we'll see them. It'll be something to talk about for a long time. But I'll see them all again soon.